Angelou,
Here.
Bowers,
Here.
Lyric,
Here.
Leesburg,
Here.
McGregor,
Here.
Brenner,
Here.
Schnetzer.
Here.
Thank you. Item B, additions and corrections to the agenda. You're muted, Brian.
On it. Mr. President, I'd like to add at the end of the agenda, I was having some offline conversation with April regarding logistics, and believe it's going to be easier for the audience and the folks involved if we do our regular meeting and then go back to our executive session meeting before we do our committee. So the motion would be to add to the end of the agenda an executive session to amend the agenda, adding an executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22G, 3 conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
I have a motion to add that to the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second, McGregor.
Thank you, Ms. McGregor. Is a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Lyric,
Yes.
McGregor,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
I think that was me. Yes.
sorry, Leesburg, yes, okay. Renner,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Angelou,
Yes.
Very good. We'll amend the agenda as requested. Motion passes. Thank you. Item C, hearing of visitors. Madam Clerk, I think we've got a couple folks.
no, those are
just emails, or you've got for later on in the different for the public hearing.
correct.
Okay. So no one under item C, public hearing, or I'm sorry, hearing of visitors. Item D, public hearing. Ordinance 061/2020, an ordinance creating a designated outdoor refreshment area in the Creekside District and enacting regulations and declaring an emergency. For the purposes of this public hearing, we will have proponents of the ordinance speak for 7 minutes, opponents speak for 10 minutes, and then give the proponents 3 minutes for rebuttal. I believe we've got a presentation. Does the administration have any presentation prior to?
Yes, I'm sorry. If I could for one moment, April, I just got a text message. The live stream is not working. All they see is a blue screen. I don't know if that's anything you can control on your end. Just wanted to pass that along first.
I've done everything that I'm supposed to be doing, so I don't know what the issue is.
Okay. All right. And my work here's done, passing along the message. So thank you. Sorry. Jamie?
Are they getting audio at least?
No, there's nothing. It's blue screen. I don't know what it says recording. Okay.
I don't know. I know they did a test one day last week and it was fine. So I don't know what the problem is. And in any event, let's move this along. So yes, thank you for the presentation on the DORA. You might remember back on February 10th, which probably seems like another lifetime ago, there was an informal presentation to council made by Lou Griffin and Brad Fisher of the Creekside District Alliance, offering really an overview of what they had been working on in terms of establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, also known as a DORA, within the Creekside District. And just for those who may be listening in or potentially watching if there is a connection. So section 4301.82 of the Ohio Revised Code authorizes municipalities to create an area known as a DORA, Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area, which really creates kind of an entertainment district that allows an individual to go into one of the permit holders within that area purchase a beverage and then walk outside of that establishment within the designated boundary area. They really are viewed as a way to enhance the amenities of the area. And it really is akin to how I would say is I could walk into Barrel and Boar, purchase a beverage and sit on their patio and drink it, or I could walk into Barrel and Boar with a DORA, purchase a beverage and sit 20 feet away from their patio and drink it and still be lawful. So right now there are dozens actually of municipalities around the state of Ohio that have created these. Hilliard just expanded theirs for the second time, I believe. Hilliard, Grove City, Dublin is currently looking at one. Powell has one. Tiffin has one. Toledo has 3. Canton, Akron has one. Lancaster has one. The list goes on and on. The application that was officially filed was really the culmination of, I think, over 2 years worth of work. In fact, I think it all started with Councilman Larrick and I sitting in a conference room back at Visit Gahanna in March of 2018, talking about how these were popping up all over Ohio and wouldn't it be cool if we could have one of these here. So in short, there has been many, many months, to say the least, of dialogue going back and forth with business owners in the Creekside District, talking to various residents who live there, just talking specifically to all of the other cities that have already enacted these to understand how they were working in their areas, what types of issues, if any, did they have, what was the most effective thing to do in orchestrating one of these. So the application that was filed under 4301.82, the application has to be filed by the executive officer of a municipality or township. This application, in compliance with that, was filed through my office in partnership with the Creekside District Alliance. So I'm not going to get into the details of the DORA right now, but I believe Mr. Griffin is on the line. If he would like to speak for a moment as to the Creekside District Alliance's view in submitting this application for consideration by council.
Sure, Lori. Council members, thank you for the time and that you put in, and I do appreciate what you do for the community as well as the other staff, especially the police department.
Hey, this is kind of a serve yourself dinner. You make your gyro.
Am
I'm
I?
not trying to be rude, but that's just kind of how it is.
I'm sorry. What was that again?
Let's keep going, Lou.
All right. The point is that, as Lori mentioned, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of people involved. There's been many issues, even a committee formed to work on the details, and details such as the boundaries. There was a lot of work done on that, along with working with the service department in that area. The committee has worked on branding, logo, DORA cups, establishing the rules for the district, signage, trash containers, gotten down to the minute things, hours, liquor license participants. And what we did is that committee also involved itself in talking with the service department, sharing what we had created, and getting input and making changes, as well with the police department, as well as with Parks and Rec. So there's been much input and much thought given into this. And I think it's important to note that, you know, a key component to this is actually knowing that throughout all these conversations, the one thing that was always mentioned was the fact that we wanted this entertainment area to be family friendly. That's a rule, and I think people understand that. So, but the purpose of this is to help our businesses that are there, to establish a better entertainment area for our residents to participate in this beautiful area that we all know. We get that recommendation or those comments made by visitors coming in. At the same time, making this is just one little small piece of making or helping our Creekside district to be inviting to other businesses to want to come in and be a part, to other developers. But with all that, it also drives more activities. And we've all spoken about the need for activities. If we're going to have a successful district and a successful community, it needs more activities. So we think this is just one small part of putting together a larger package that's really entertaining, that's purposeful, good for the community. And I'll let that be the last statement. I think it's good for the community and the businesses.
Thank you, Lou. Do we have any other proponents?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
This is Sean White. I'm one of the owners at Nostalgia Brewing. I've worked alongside of Lou in helping to develop some of the details and echo the sentiments that Lou stated. You know, appreciate the council and everything that you do. And as far as the DORA and it being successful in other areas, I've personally seen it, personally followed it. And there are some DORA districts that have kept businesses alive through this COVID-19 situation, where some breweries haven't had to lay off any staff, haven't had to basically take on any additional debt because DORA provides them with the additional revenue that's necessary to keep the business moving. And, you know, we as a business have seen declines, as, you know, understandably so. There are a lot of people that are still very concerned about going out to eat, going out to have a drink, and this DORA district would allow them to feel more comfortable because they could get to go and they could walk around the beautiful park area that surrounds Creekside and feel comfortable being on the outside and not sitting in a closed restaurant. And it would definitely help all of the businesses along the area that are part of this. The term "rising tide raises all ships" is very, very pertinent in this particular situation. So, thank you all, and appreciate the time.
Thank you. Got a couple more minutes for the proponents.
I'd like to say something. This is Brad Fisher.
Absolutely, Brad. I was wondering if you want to bring us home or if you want to do get in first. So go ahead.
Yeah, sure. No, I can try to bring us home here. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to speak. And I echo the sentiments of Lou and Sean, who I've talked extensively with and worked extensively with over the past couple of years on this project. I wear a lot of hats here in the community. I'm the president of the Gahanna Area Chamber of Commerce and vice president of the Creekside District Alliance. I also happen to be the largest tenant down here with C-suites in the Creekside area. And so Creekside is really my home away from home. And I have a chance to talk to people every day about, what they want to see being done with Creekside. And I've talked to a lot of people about this concept, and I get an overwhelmingly resounding, yes, this is something that the Creekside District would do well with. As being on the committee that ultimately presented the DORA through the Creekside District Alliance, we've spent a lot of time analyzing things. We've met with the chief of police. We've considered safety. We've considered the boundaries. We've talked to other communities that have this in place. And we had a lot of concerns, of course, initially. I mean, it seems like there could be some negative effects, but in talking to some of the other districts, it does seem like it is something that draws people to the community, and and that's great for the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, which I also happen to be on the board of as of recently. I think it's another opportunity to draw people here into not only Gahanna but our beautiful Creekside Park. So thank you.
Very good, thank you. I had one other speaker request. Is Kristen Fox on? Had her down as a maybe. So okay. Madam Clerk, do we have any opponents?
I don't have anything else.
No speaker requests on that? Okay.
Yeah.
Just a point of order.
Yep.
I believe that there was an email opponent. I don't know if it's appropriate for that to be addressed at the moment or if we can just address it during correspondence and actions. I just wanted to make sure that there was, that was not dismissed.
Yeah, I think we all received the email. But
Well, there
they
were
didn't,
multiple.
yeah, they didn't request to speak. So, April, there aren't no additional speaker slips.
Mr. President.
No.
Okay, thank you.
President Karen.
Ms. Angelou?
Karen.
Yep.
Yeah, if there is a, I don't recall receiving that email that was negative, and quite honestly, potentially because they thought having an email might get them that to be told tonight. Could there be some reference to that? Just so that it's in the record.
Yeah, there were several emails that were sent. I know today, a couple in favor.
I must have missed it because I was
Yeah.
on all day. So.
Yeah.
If you get emails, don't they have to be part of the record? You say what you want to say, and then nothing else matters.
Council President, point of order. I believe those emails were addressed to our clerk. So I think that they were intended to be part of this discussion.
I'm sorry? You broke up there a little.
Yes, just as a point of order, I think what we discussed was that if the emails were sent directly to the clerk, that as we have done in the past, and I think this was, this is our first time doing a public hearing virtually, that an email about a topic for public hearing that was specifically addressed to the clerk, I believe should be made part of the record. And especially if we have another council member that advises she's not been able to see those yet.
All right, I'll try and get as many as I can here. Here's one from, let's see, Steve Weingartner. We are highly in favor of the DORA. We live at Creekside, and the residents of Creekside would love to see this. The speakers that were identified were, again, Brad Fisher, Sean White, Kristen Fox, and Lou Griffin. We heard from 3 of the 4, and Kristen was noted as a maybe. I have, let's see, one other DORA from Emma Irvin. Before tonight's meeting, I wanted to offer my full support for the DORA initiative. I think it's a fabulous idea. Let's see. Proposed DORA, SD Yankover. Sarah Yankover.
Yeah.
Regarding the proposed Creekside DORA to be discussed at the City Council meeting this evening, I cannot be on the virtual meeting. Again, so it doesn't sound like she wanted to speak, but we can enter this one in the record. However, I'd like to express my opinion. I understand how much the restaurants and breweries have been hurting these last several months. My husband and I are also small business owners here in Gahanna and get the struggle. We love Creekside area and are always wanting improvements and new business that draw people to the area. However, this proposal is geared only towards drinkers and not great family atmosphere that Creekside is. We ride our bikes around Creekside in the past with our young children. They also love the water feature of Creekside. There's not much else to do for families right now during the pandemic, and Creekside area and bike paths have been a lifesaver. There needs to be more thought about how to attract a more encompassing population to the area, which would bring business to these restaurants, not just those who want to walk around with open containers. This proposal is very narrowly focused. Not all residents and visitors will be attracted to and could deter a people away. I would be okay with limited hours of the DORA, evenings only for weekends and for weekdays and the weekend, but all day Thursday through Sunday is not appropriate. I would much rather it look like Worthington downtown area rather than Short North, which is not really geared for families and kids. Let's be more creative with how we can support these businesses and build up Creekside. Thank you, Sarah Yakover. And I believe those are the only emails that I saw. I'm sorry, there's one more. Let's see. This was another one I asked June if she wanted to speak Monday, waiting to hear back, but have not. So April, this is June Inlow from Herb Group, Herb Classes and Gahanna resident. I'm for the DORA proposal, especially with the COVID-19. I prefer being outside. This will be another good reason to go to Creekside. June. And I believe that's all of the emails that I saw.
There are a couple more.
Thank you, Mr. Leesburg. can I make it seems like there's been one negative and all the rest have been positive.
Again,
there
that's what I've gotten to date.
Thank you. That's what I had gotten earlier. A couple that I had seen were positive,
Yeah,
but it was mentioned that there were negative ones. So I wanted to see.
Mr. Alert, do you have one that I missed?
I am looking, so there's a name in particular that I recall seeing.
But again, if it's not,
I can speak to a general statement that the what is coming to mind are 2, possibly 3 emails that were not against the DORA, but they were requesting a change in the footprint to stop at Walnut rather than North Street.
Okay.
I believe there were 3 of those.
I received those as well.
And I need to look them up. If you want to pause for a moment for the specifics, I can see what I can find.
Yeah,
I don't see them.
I don't recall seeing those, but again, they didn't. I don't know that they asked to speak at the public hearing. So
no, those were not sent to. I received those as well. Those were sent to Councilman Lyric and to me, not to Council Clerk.
Okay, very good. So moving on. Again, I don't hear any more opponents on the call. The proponents, would you like a closing statement or any kind of closing statement to address any of the negatives?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And I think to the extent that we heard any negativity, it was concerns around after hours, what would happen after at 11 o'clock, that there would be a bunch of drinkers in the area, people crossing Mill Street with a beverage, etc. And I will tell you that all of the concerns that were raised are things that were discussed over the last 2 years. And they were questions that were asked when calling all of these other cities with, how is your DORA working as well? And, I think at the end of the day, we have to get away from the misperception that once the DORA is implemented, that all of a sudden it's going to become Heinegate at Creekside. That's simply just not the case. This is really a DORA really is one tool in the toolkit for adding an amenity to an area that has been promoted and was built as an entertainment district and supposed to be the heart of a downtown suburban area for people to gather and to enjoy events and activities and enjoy being outdoors. And to have a DORA in place is just one more amenity that we can use to attract residents, attract more businesses to the area, and support the businesses that are there and really make it just a vibrant community. The same legal responsibilities that are in place right now with liquor permit holders with regard to who they serve and how many they serve, et cetera, are still in place. Those don't go away. And I can tell you that the 6 participating establishments who have all expressed an interest in being a part of this DORA, and I'd list them, but I'd forget one right now, but they're all, I can do my best. But I mean, they're taking this very seriously. I mean, they want this. And ultimately, at the end of the day, this is going to be their job to manage on a daily basis with every patron that comes through their door. So, a lot of them have locations in other areas that have DORAs already, or they have seen them in action. They understand what those responsibilities are. And quite frankly, they're at risk with their own permit if this goes awry. So they have a vested interest in making sure that this is well managed and implemented successfully. We have worked hand in hand with our police department, as well as our parks department and our public service department. If we were to have the DORA in place just on a regular day, the extra costs are not going to be anything other than what we already have and incur on a daily basis. If there's a special event that happens, such as Second Saturday's Arts in the Alley or a flea market, and these are speaking all in non-COVID times. But if there's a special event where there's going to be hundreds of people there, then we're going to look to that organization to help cover the cost of whatever special duty police or extra services might be needed. That was all explained as part of the DORA application as well. There's a very detailed safety plan, a detailed sanitation plan as well. So, I think this is nothing but a positive for our community. I've seen a lot of positive comments on social media throughout the weekend as well. And I do understand and appreciate the people who have concerns. There are people who live in that area. And sure, anytime there's going to be something that's different, there's going to be a concern. But I would ask them to have assurance in all of the businesses that have been involved in planning this, and the police department and the parks department and the services department, and quite frankly, in my office and in all of you as council members, if you are to approve this, that we will approach this in a thoughtful and planned and strategic manner. And also, I'll just add at the end of the day, that if this is implemented as proposed, and we find out 6 months from now that there needs to be a change that's made, the council can always go back and make a change, whether that's expanding the boundary, contracting the boundary, changing the hours. I mean, that is within your purview, I believe. Once you issue an ordinance, you can go back and amend it. And I will, if our city attorney wants to chime in on that, I'll let him do that. But the point of the matter is that nothing is ever permanent, and it is always able to be modified based on how we're seeing that it's operating. So if you have any, I know I'm rambling. If you have any other questions.
Nope. Thank you.
I'm a lawyer. I get paid by the dollar. Remember,
Ray,
by the word.
Ray, did you want to chime in on anything?
Councilwoman Bowers had asked earlier about whether this could be amended, and I did a lot of looking into it, and there's no specific mention in the Ohio Revised Code concerning amending this. There are mentions as to dissolving all or part of the area of it, or expanding the area of it, but nothing about amending it. So what that means is this is an ordinance of the council. So the council can always amend their own ordinances. There's nothing that prohibits them from doing that. So the council always has the right to do that.
All right, thank you,
Mr. President.
Mr. Lyric.
Just a little bit of background. I'm sure we'll cover this more again in committee, but and apologies, some of my memories here are a little old. It's been quite a while since the discussion started on this and my research with ORC and the possibilities and the structures of the DORA. In any case, generally speaking, just a short recap of, yes, the specific of rules of time and details of that are to the city and not necessarily a concern of the Liquor Commission or ORC. The broader footprint, et cetera, if I recall, are really their focus and where they would have an ability to manage, along with the licensing association that exists with the code. With regard to comments on the DORA itself being focused to liquor, the concern of the one individual that we heard from. Just a note that this is not intended to be an all-encompassing. This is the grand solution. This is, as been noted, a tool. It's a singular item. With regard to parks programming, business-sponsored programming, business-sponsored activities, general small activities that occur in the area, and there's been great discussion with regard to those small constant drumbeat of activities that drives vitality and energy into an area are the things that are the bigger scope tools that I think are available for Creekside that, as COVID resolves and we have the opportunity to focus our energy on recreational activities in the city as opposed to the emergency aspects that we're focused on right now, I think those will come to the forefront.
All right, very good. Thank you. With that, I would like to close the public hearing and move on to item E, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Stetzer, a second.
I'll second. This is Brian.
Mr. Lyric, thank you. Go ahead and call the roll.
Stetzer?
Yes.
Lyric?
Yes.
I froze up. Okay. Leesburg?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Angelou?
Yes.
Ooh, and Ms. Renner.
Yes.
Sorry. And Angelou, yes? Angelou?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. And Bowers?
Yes.
We are recording, guys, by the way. It took me and 4 other people, but we got it. It's up.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item F, resolutions. Resolution 018-2020, resolution concerning the services to property proposed for annexation, plus or minus 0.8 acres in Jefferson Township, 5829 Taylor Road, Greg A. and Paula Stonerock, PID number 170-000-215-00 to the City of Gahanna and the city buffer requirements as provided in the Ohio Revised Code 709.023. We have a presentation or anything from development?
No, this came through clerk's office, but Mr. Weber is here to speak on this if you need to, but it's just a resolution for service. It's an expedited type 2 annexation. So this is one of those, got to get them done quickly.
Thank you. Mr. Weber, thank you for bearing with us.
Thank you. Yes, I have a couple of comments. Thank you. Yeah, there is a relatively tight time frame on this. This is an expedited 2 annexation. We have the support of the Jefferson Township Water and Sewer District. They've said that they cannot offer services, and my clients have a well, and during the summer months, the well goes dry, so they wish to annex to the city of Gahanna in order to have water, and the city of Gahanna has said that it can provide services. That's basically what I have.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Weber. Can I have a motion on this one? I lost.
So moved, Schnetzer.
Motion by Mr. Schnetzer. I have a second.
Mr. Lyric, I'll second.
Second, Angelo.
I got a second from Mr. Lyric. And with that, any discussion? Ms. McGregor?
I don't remember the terminology in city buffer requirements. What is that refer to? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't know what that means. It says to the city of Gahanna and city buffer requirements as provided, but I don't know what that city buffer requirement means. I don't remember seeing that before.
Okay.
I think it pertains to if the property.
Now I'm gonna put water
A little bit of water in it. Yeah.
A little?
Sorry.
Just a little bit.
I think it pertains to like a buffer between the township and the city as far as like the zoning requirements. It's been in every other resolution for service, so I left it in there.
Mr. Weber, do you know, is that a contiguous? It's got to be.
They have to be contiguous, and it can't create an island. Perhaps it refers to the island. This property does not create an island. And other than that, that's the only tougher issue that I'm aware of.
Can't abandon another piece in between 2 pieces of the city. Then okay, that makes sense. Buffalo Park. Okay.
I'll let it rest.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Comments? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and ask for the roll.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Lyric?
Yes.
Leesburg?
See what happens.
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Angelou?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
That's it.
Is that everybody? All right, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Item G, ordinances for introduction and first reading.
I'll move. I'll ask for the items under item G, section G, to be introduced.
Thank you, Mr. Lyric. Item H, correspondence and actions. Madam Clerk?
No. I don't have anything.
Don't have anything? Okay. Council? Hearing
We've
none?
already just noted the items that came in with regard to the footprint changes for.
Yes, thank you. Item I, representatives, the CIC, Mr. Lyric.
Last meeting, CIC, there's continued wrapping up details with regard to the small business support with regard to COVID. It's where the primary energy is focused right now and trying to get that wrapped up.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Angelou? Morpsey?
The Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission will be having a board meeting on this Thursday. The Wednesday before, between 5:30 and 6:30, there is a CARE Acts webinar that will be is available to be watched. It was also placed on the agenda on July 29th, which I was at that one. So there's things will be starting to move along here at North Sea. We had the month of July off, although we had numerous webinars and on COVID-19, as well as the CARES Act and housing. So other than that, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. The CVB report. The CVB has actually got several initiatives that they're working on right now. They just launched a picnic in the park social media campaign to get some folks to get some carry out food with at the local restaurants and enjoy our wonderful parks downtown, and take advantage of both of those things. They've also continued the staycation itinerary type of a weekend. I believe they've had the guys weekend. I think they had the ladies weekend. Type of an idea. So putting those type of things together to get folks out of their house and back into enjoying all the things we have to offer. We continue to encourage attending the summer drive-ins and to purchase locally at Pam's Popcorn and the local candy shops. They've worked with Gahanna on the kayak and paddle boat with Experience Columbus, and Herbal Cocktail Trail was featured in This Week News. There's been 89 visitor guides have been distributed in the last couple weeks, and the Herb Center has a newsletter and classes that were going out and currently being distributed. They reached over 400 followers on the Herb Center Instagram page, and that was an increase of 15% in the last 2 months. So the word's getting out. That's great. There's a dyers workshop was held on July 25th, and it was sold out. Fall class schedule is being planned, and there's some garden maintenance to be done around the Ohio Herb Center. And that concludes my CVB report. I believe we're up to the school board. Ms. Angela, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I have a question. How many employees are there at the CVB now? You know?
CVB, I believe, has 3 full-time employees. I'm sorry, three.
Are they two? Maybe 2 full-time, 1 part-time? 2
full-time, 1 part-time, I believe, and then we've got 2, I believe, at the Herb Center. 1 at the Herb Center.
And do we know anything about the hotel taxes coming through, and what? Obviously there's been like hardly anybody going to hotels, and how is that working?
Yeah, we've not gotten the official. I've not seen the official numbers. I know we've got a meeting coming up, but I've not seen the official numbers. I know they were down first quarter. Well, a little bit down in the first quarter, and we expect them to be down second quarter. But I've not seen the numbers because we haven't had a meeting. We usually take a couple months off during Creekside and wait for everything to settle. And unfortunately, we didn't have Creekside, so we hadn't scheduled the meeting. But we do have one coming up. But I'll get that information for you.
Thanks. It's know, just to get.
Absolutely. Mr. Schnetzer, anything from the school board?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. The meeting with representatives of the city and the school board that had been planned to take place last week of July, it's been bumped to the second week in August just due to various schedule conflicts. Hope to have an update of the key outcomes of that meeting at the next city council meeting. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you very much. Official reports, Madam Mayor.
Sure, thank you. Well, City Hall's been open for about a month now with our new protocols in place. I want to just commend the public for their patience as they have come in and adjusted to our new protocols. We haven't had any issues. Everybody's been very cooperative, and I very, very much appreciate everybody's patience as we continue to adapt to the new world. Certainly, when we get to committee of the whole, you will hear a presentation from Joanne, not only on our capital needs assessments, which we've been working on, but also on CARES Act funds. So we did receive CARES Act money, which she'll be sharing with you in a little bit. I know a while ago we brought a resolution to council to pass so that we could have access to those funds. Those funds have come in, and Joanne will be talking to you about next steps around that as well. The budget process officially kicked off today. So between poor Joanne's had her hands full. She's had the annual report, the audit had to be finished. She was working. All the directors were working on CNAs. I appreciate their support. Everybody was, I thought, did a really great job because I gave them the dictate that I did not want everything thrown against the wall in the hopes that something would stick, that I wanted them to be thoughtful around the projects that we reasonably think we can bring forward and accomplish over the next several years. keeping in mind potential COVID-19 impacts, which we'll have a better picture of certainly in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So those will be shared with you tonight as well. We officially welcomed a new team member, Craig Main, as you remember, left May 1st to head over to the new MEC Center. And today we hired a new IT manager by the name of Kevin Schultz. Kevin has come to us with years of experience both in IT and in management. Actually previously worked for Franklin County in the auditor's office there, and has already added a lot of great insights for us. We're excited to have him as part of our team. So when we are all together in person, you will get to meet him as well. Our police department continues training in certainly much the same way that council is conducting virtual meetings. Our police department has had to adjust the way they conduct their training. So they have been doing a lot of online virtual training through July. Every team member completed 2 hours of implicit bias training through the Police One Academy. And coming up in August, I want to make sure I get this right, they will each have to do 2 hours of constitutional law as well as it's constitutional and community policing, and then 1 hour of critical stress management or wellness for our officers. So even though COVID-19 is prohibiting so many of us from getting together, their training is continuing to be ongoing and moving forward as originally planned. I'd like to thank the people who called in for the DORA application tonight, and really and thanks to council for your time and your input in this as well. Certainly Lou Griffin, Brad Fisher, Sean White, all on the phone tonight, put in tremendous amounts of work on that. A few people who weren't on the call, Kristen Fox, Stan Riley of Barrel and Bore, and just so many people as well who just offered insights and ideas. So I just want to thank them for taking the time and assisting and putting that together. Well, 2 more things. I issued a proclamation on Friday as August is National Black Business Month. That is something that was begun in 2004, really in an effort to recognize the importance of African-American owned businesses. And it was created in a way to highlight them in a way to potentially reduce barriers to welcoming Black entrepreneurs and adding jobs for the Black community. So we certainly have some tremendous businesses here in Gahanna that are Black-owned businesses, and we value them. And this is a great month to honor them by supporting them. You know, Stadium is a great one that just opened up, but I can immediately think of Upper Cup and Super Chef and Hip Hop Fitness, Mike Nicholson's Place. There's a lot of great businesses here in town that deserve our support. And finally, I would be remiss if I think the last time we were all together, I said, talk to Stephanie because you're not going to see her for a while. And so we do have our new official Parks and Recs mascot. Emerson May was born on July 23rd. Stephanie Farrell's little girl, 7 pounds, 1 ounce, and we are all oohing and awing over all of her pictures. So hopefully someday we'll be all in the same room and you'll get to meet her. But mom and baby are doing well, and we're really just very happy for Steph. And in the meantime, Alan Little and Brian Gill are doing a great job really spearheading the Parks and Recs department. And I want to thank everybody for their time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. President, can I ask
Absolutely.
some questions of the mayor?
Good. Sure.
I don't know if this should be potentially maybe at the committee of the whole with our person who is in charge of all the monies that come in, but I guess I'm trying to figure out why we did not know about the $1.1 million CARES Act payment. And I don't know. I didn't know about it. I don't think anybody on council knew that had actually come in. And my understanding is that it was actually the receipt was on July 2nd. And I don't know. I'm assuming that that's a correct thing, that the receipt of the $1.1 million was for the CARES Act was on July 2nd. And we had a meeting on July 6th. We had a meeting on July 20th. And as far as I know, nothing was said, and I was at all those meetings. And I just kind of want to make sure that we are included in hearing some of these things, because that's a great amount of money to have coming into our coffers. And I guess my first question would be, do we have the amount that has already been spent? And perhaps this is something we should be doing at the committee of the whole, so that we can have, you know, the ability to know that this money has to be spent by December 31st. And I know that you've kept a complete, you know, a complete file of everything that has to do with COVID-19. And I was wondering what that file says at this point, where we're in. Is it $500,000? Is it the 1.1 million, or is it less than that?
Sure, I'll be happy to answer your question. So I don't really know the date. No, I mean, Joanne will give a more detailed presentation later on because the CARES Act is part of her presentation. So
right then.
Right. So, but just to briefly answer your questions, I don't really know when the funds came in, and the reason it was not immediately shared is because we were trying to figure out whether or not we were going to be able to even keep that or send that back, and what we were going to be able to do. So for the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks, we have been working through exactly what you just said, trying to identify what we have already spent, what we're expected to spend. And that is not only through October, but through the end of the year. So trying to understand what needs we would have and what that could look like. And then that took, and again, you know, I know Joanne was working on that as well as the annual report and the audit all at the same time. So we were really just trying to get our arms around that. Part of the issue was if you received over, I believe it's 800,000 and up, it kicks you into a single audit, which is something that we have never had to go through before, and there have to be mechanisms in place for that. So there's a whole nother level of what that looks like. I think I previously shared that we expected to receive 800,000, so it was a little bit more of a surprise to us when we received more than that. So the issue then became, now what do we do? Because now we have to kick into these extra procedures. So it was really just trying to get our arms around that. We knew that we had this presentation scheduled to share with all of you. And I didn't, sometimes I don't want to share information unless I know I can answer the questions that you're going to throw at me, because I'd rather be able to answer the questions than just say, I don't know, I don't know. So I knew we had the presentation scheduled that we were slated for, and we were aiming to share all of that with you at this time. So now we can actually answer all the questions that you just posed to us.
Well, and I appreciate that, Mayor, and quite honestly, I would appreciate it that when we get something like $1.1 million, that council be given that information, whether you're wrapping your arms around it or not. It's still $1.1 million, and it does have some meaning to us sitting on City Council. And I would appreciate that in the future. And I thank you for that.
Understand. No, I understand, and keep in mind that what we cannot account for has to go back. So, you know, we might have 1.1 million right now, but that doesn't mean we're going to get to keep it.
I've gone through every webinar for the last 4 months. You know,
I'm sure you have. Those Morpsey webinars are very detailed.
and the real issue here is that as Ashley, the chair of Morpsey, I have taken on as one of my goals to make sure that the suburban areas, not just Columbus and Franklin County, but the suburban areas and those out are able to get the local government funds that have been taken away from them over the past few years. So this was a good thing that this was going to come to local governments, because my question has been every week, what's going to happen with local governments when we've had all of our people from you know, the federal government coming in, our representatives talking about what they hope to be. And you know, the I think it was $3.75 billion, and the state of Ohio got, and $1.2 billion is supposedly to go to local governments. So, and then if that can help those small businesses that we can give grants to, that will be helpful. But if we don't know about this, I was shocked when I heard the 1.1, and I know you immediately got on when the question was asked by me about when is everybody going to get these things, because I did not know that we had received it. And I believe that as a member of council, we should know those things. So I appreciate you doing that.
No problem. And thank you for your work in securing the local government funds. I know you've been a very vocal advocate for that, and all of the conversations that I have been a part of, for sure. And it has taken a lot of work to make sure that that we were able to get those funds, and I appreciate our governor and his support in making sure that those funds were filtered down to the communities and cities like us.
Exactly.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, anything tonight?
Nothing further at this time.
Very good. Thank you. Let's go around the horn. Mr. Lyric, anything tonight?
Just a couple of comments. I'd be remiss if I didn't. I dug around. I have no idea why I couldn't find these earlier. With regard to the DORA, there are 3 emails that were received. One was for Bernard Cohen. I'll just go ahead and read it. Mayor Jadwin, council members, as a Creekside resident, and this one you may have read. Did you capture this one earlier?
Which one?
Bernard Cohen.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. As a Creekside resident, I would like also to add a few comments regarding the proposed DORA application. On any given day, there are a number of residents with strollers and small children touring the area, enjoying the water, the boats, and all that Creekside has to offer. These are families. If you allow folks with drinks in hand wandering around the area, I don't think this will go over so well with parents. Also, there are 90+ units in Creekside. Many of them here are senior citizens. We would be living in a bar setting all the time. Would any of you like this sort of behavior going on in your neighborhood? My suggestion would be to expand the outdoor seating for the local businesses. In that way, they can police their patrons in their area, and we don't have people on the streets with too much to drink. Thank you, Legion Cohen, Creekside. The next 2 that I have are, one is from Marie Olin. Longtime resident of Creekside. She is, I believe, one of the owners. Hello, Mayor Jadwin, council members. I'll not be able to call into the hearing on Monday since I'm out of town. I suggest a change to the north border if you do adopt DORA. Condo faces Mill Street, and I live over the U-Break iFixit and Eyebrow Salon. If the border is North Street, I will have drinking people sitting under my window every night until the time ends that night and later. People who park in the 15-minute spaces and in the garage already sit under window, talking and yelling nearly every night. At the north edge of DORA Street, that will ensure disruption to everyone who lives on Mill Street. The owner of the Upper Cup already rents a space for parties after 7 p.m., and those guests linger past 11 p.m. People do not use the crosswalks as it is, and now there will be more drinking customers stepping out into traffic with alcoholic beverages. I think the business being brought in by increasing foot traffic. I also wonder how patrons who come for ice cream will feel having to share seating on the plaza with drinking patrons. It seems the longer I live on Mill Street, the more ways the city thinks of to increase noise for the only residents on the plaza. Creekside Festival stage has been in front of us for a convenient location for working downtown and plan to stay for another 10 years. Thank you for listening. Marie Olin, residents of Creekside. And then finally, the last one, I believe, is from Sandy Miller, also a resident of Creekside, and I believe an owner. Comments below regarding adopting DORA. I strongly urge you to make Walnut Street the north border. There are plenty of places to sit and drink in the courtyard without sitting in front of a residential building drinking alcohol until after 11 p.m. every night. The North Street border would only encourage people to sit on the porch of 151 Mill Street or hang out in the old car wash plant library. And intend to increase police presence during the DORA times. It will take more than an occasional drink to ensure safety. We're living in very difficult times due to the virus. We should all do everything we can to help our local businesses, but not at the expense of the residents who live here at Creekside. We have put up with the skateboarders in the garage and the plaza and on the walking paths under our windows after the bars close. But DORA 7 days a week until 11 p.m. and later is too much. Would you want your DORA in your neighborhood? Thank you, Sandy Miller, Mill Street.
Thank you, Mr. Larrick. Any other comment?
And that was all for me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Renner?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things, and I just realized that maybe I should have brought this up during council correspondence and action, so I apologize. And this is a comment directed at the mayor and the administration. I've been actually getting a lot more constituent calls and requests about what to do about trees on private properties. This was an old issue in the past. I don't think that as a city we have a really good response for this. What to do? How do we force people because it is on private property, but there are pretty large mature trees that in the Royal Manor area, and actually even around me, where these trees are in people's backyards. So we're not talking about the right of way, but they are impending to fall down. And what does the city do, if anything? I do recognize, I've been counseling everybody that this is purely a private property issue, but and in most cases, on a couple of cases, I've acted on people's behalf and just talked to people. But I can see a scenario where it might escalate, and I just wondered, and then I'm not, Mayor, I'm not asking you to answer it now, just bringing it to an awareness that there's more mature trees that are in danger, and it's probably going to be more of an issue.
Thank you for that. And maybe you and I could, or if you could share with me some of the, I don't know if you have residence addresses, whatever, and I will talk with our team as well. We'll certainly look into that.
Okay.
What if anything that we can do?
Right. Thank you. The only other thing is I want to express my thanks and gratitude to my colleagues, especially President Jamie Leesburg. Last meeting, I was dealing with some severe jaw pain. And I had to I left the meeting rather quickly and abruptly. I apologize. Thank you for the patience. I've been to several doctors. Long story short, found out that a car accident that Melissa and I were in, where we rolled back in '95, there are some things going on in my neck that are connected to the jaw and are squeezing on the trigeminal nerve, which is, take it from me, quite painful. So the therapy has been very weird. It's ultrasound and electric stimulus, and I can tell you I'm now 4 days pain-free with no drugs. So, and they found some other things, but it's all good, and I want to thank you guys for giving me the latitude and the patience. So. That's all I have.
Absolutely. We don't want you sitting here in pain. Miss Angelou?
Oh, well, I have a anniversary this Thursday, and it's with my husband. I will be married 54 years, and that's a long time. We've tried to figure out why. No, I'm just kidding.
Dick was just saying the same thing the other day.
No, it's really an interesting thing to go and 54 and 55 and that sort of thing. So we always know it by the football teams that play in the year we were married was the very first big all-star football thing. So we just go with that. And that's about it. Other than that, glad to have Norpsey back on.
Yeah, very good. Congratulations. Ms. Bowers?
Yes, thank you. Congratulations to Karen and Dick. 54 is nothing to sneeze at. That's amazing. So congratulations. And Councilmember Renner, we're really glad to hear that you have identified that and are feeling some relief. I just wanted to, I guess, briefly thank Mayor Jadwin for the discussion tonight on the DORA and all the other folks who've been involved in participating in this dialogue and helping bring this forward. I appreciate the effort to make sure that we're addressing not just everybody who's in favor of it, but making sure that we take the time to address those constituents with concerns. So thank you for that. Briefly, I have my monthly constituent report that is linked to the agenda and will be made part of the minutes. I held constituent hours on July 6th and July 20th. This past month, I've also started participating in OML's newly elected council training seminars. They were supposed to happen in person earlier this year, and they've been rescheduled into webinars, so I'm attending those virtually. And I'm registered to attend the National League of Cities Constituency Groups Summit later this month on the 13th and 14th. The topics look really interesting and very timely, including evictions, voting, and public safety. Briefly, last month was pretty busy with the discussions about all kinds of things, particularly masks. And I just wanted to thank Mayor Jadwin and City Attorney Malarski for promptly responding to my questions when I had them on behalf of constituents. Thank you. That's all.
I think Jamie's frozen.
We had electrical thing again here.
I was worried it was me.
I had the same thing.
I think that's happened to Jamie. Plus my phone is going to overheat again.
I think we can reasonably conclude going around the horn that I was going to be next in line. So this is Mike. I have nothing to add.
I will say, I'm glad Stephen's feeling better. I was wondering about that when we started the meeting, and congratulations, Karen, and that would be all for me. JB.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. I'm back.
Okay.
Mr. Schnetzer, did you get a chance?
I had my opportunity. Thank you.
Very good. I apologize. My power keeps flipping on and off tonight. I too would like to congratulate Karen and Dick on their anniversary. That is a long time. I always joke that whenever I have an anniversary, they said it wouldn't last, but it was just my mother-in-law. I too am glad to hear that Stephen's feeling better, and I would like to thank the mayor for her proclamation recognizing the National Black Business Month. I was fortunate to get to Stadium last Friday and enjoyed the wares there, and it was a lively crowd, and we were there kind of late lunch, early dinner, and watching folks come and go, and everybody that was there was saying how great the food was and those kind of things. So if you haven't had a chance, give it a try. And with that, I will ask for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, thank you. And I'll try and get back on for the next meeting.
Hold on.
Wait.
April.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot. Thank you, Mr. Lyric. It's not on my agenda, so I didn't do it. We had a correction or agenda, addition and correction to the agenda.
Trying to Ben here.
I'm sorry.
Well, actually, so we added the item to the agenda.
Yep.
So if technically from a procedural standpoint, we need to go back into a regular meeting. That's probably a motion. Would move to we reinstate a regular meeting.
Okay.
I'll second. McGregor.
We have a motion from Mr. Lyric, a second from Ms. McGregor. Any discussion on opening a new meeting?
Motion to reopen the meeting, correct?
Reopening the meeting, I'm sorry. Any discussion on reopening the meeting?
So, are we doing the roll? Everybody froze up, so I didn't hear what anybody said the last minute.
I have a motion. I have a motion for Mr. Lyric. I have a motion for Mr. Lyric to. I have a motion for Mr. Lyric to reopen the meeting, and a second from Ms. McGregor.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, Lyric.
Yes.
McGregor.
Yes.
Brenner.
Yes.
Yes. Schnetzer.
Yes.
Angelou.
Yes.
Frozen. Is that a yes? Bowers?
It was a yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And Leesburg.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that's all. Is that all?
That's it. Yep.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Mr. President, I would ask
Yes,
for, I move to go into executive session under ORC 121.22G, number 3, conferences with an attorney for public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Second.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second, McGregor.
So I have a motion by Mr. Lurick, a second by Ms. McGregor. Any discussion?
Council President,
Ms. Bowers?
yes, thank you. It's my understanding that we'll briefly be going into executive session and then returning to adjourn this meeting and then going immediately into committee of the whole. Is that correct?
That is the intention, yes.
Okay, so people who are participating or listening in can stay on this call and we should be back shortly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I expect no legislation out of this meeting. Go ahead, Mr.
From a
Lurick.
logistic standpoint, yes, what April and I were discussing earlier, the expectation is that we can go back to the special team meeting for us to regroup. That will allow us to separate into our executive session. Once that executive session concludes, we can come back here. What I would suggest is do not close this meeting. If you go to your calendar and go to the special, this meeting should go on hold. When I came here originally, that's what happened. So you should be able to put this meeting on hold, go to the executive session, and then when we're done, close that one out and come back to this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So where do we go to get on to the executive session?
On the left of
in your
your
calendar,
you should see calendar.
Okay.
If you
All
click
right.
that, when it comes up, you'll see the 6:30 special meeting. You should be able to join it.
Okay.
Oh, I can't ever get to it because I took it off of my.
All right, you need the roll call? You didn't leave yet, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please call the roll.
Okay, Lyric. Did he already leave?
I think some of the people left to go on to the other call.
I'm
wait a minute.
still here.
McGregor, you're here.
Yes.
Renner.
Renner's in the other meeting. Would you like to go to executive session, Mr. Renner?
Yes.
She said
Schnetzer?
yes.
Schnetzer.
Yes.
Okay. Angelou.
I want to go to the executive session, but I don't think I can do it because I got out of my legislate.
We'll
Don't need it.
We'll get you there. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get you there.
Bowers.
Yes.
Leesburg.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Forgot to read it out.
My phone is like
Thank you.
burning up.
April, can you email the invitation to Miss Angelou again?
I can't get onto my. Yeah, maybe I can get on an email over here now. What am I supposed to do?
Hang on. Here. All right, I just sent it to you again in your email. You see it?
There it is. Yeah, I see it now.
Okay.
That's DORA. Got it. I have to end it. I'm going to be off for probably the whole time.
Crazy thing.